ask. So we should know what to ask. So we are trying to work on that. Before we start, just a brief about me, and we start with the success is not a doorway, it's a staircase. So brief about me. So many people know me through the groups which we are interacted and we are engaged in the participation and interactions. So this is the brief about me. So that shows about my professional accolades as well as the personal engagements, how the hobbies I'm doing out. So I'm having 5+ years of the product management experience that include the multiple domains, vertical consulting engagements, product developments, all those. So let's start and move ahead. So this webinar is designed, so we are not going to talk about Agile is not equal to Scrum or talk about any Agile canopy, but we are more focused towards what. So any of the engagement has a what and how. So mainly what we do in our normal activities goes towards the how, but we should know, what to ask. So that is more concerned there. And I have used my experiences, my working experiences and information correlating to B2B and B2C. And let's start. So the slide of the flow of the slide deck is met. So we are going to have a little quick walkthrough in the initial maybe 20 minutes. We'll understand what was the history from where the product management started, how we see the product management. So there are some consortia who works internationally and globally to work for the all Association of International Product and Marketing. So what exactly product management is about and how we sell our journey. So we'll understand, okay, what are the areas we have to look for, how we have to do the. So we always talk about requirement prioritizations, many areas. So we will discuss on those areas, what exactly the industry is moving ahead, what we are looking, and we'll figure out measures to reach. So we have so again, we'll not have the measures like burn down and burn up and epic and all those. So we'll figure out what kind of metrics we do when we go and work for the B2B, when we go and work for the B2C. So the presentation overview. So first we'll have the introduction, then what, then how. That will reach us to let us know what is how. So introduction will. So this is this a thought of the product management in technologies. So product management and the Bradman concept initiated in 1931 by P&G Memo. Before to that, let's understand what happened before. So in 1980s, a new thoughts came, data-driven concepts introduced in the market. Before 1980s, data-driven were not done in the tech companies, tech softwares. So those concepts evolved in the market. So let's start from the history. So till 1920s era, the inventors and geniuses were developing products. So they used to have the trial and error experiments to get those details out. Mainly innovations were done by the individual contributions. So it was not customer focused, it was not customer centric. Eventually, they moved in 1930, Procter and Gamble. They started focusing on the product market issues and the root causes, implementation, awareness to the root causes, and identify solutions. In 1930, first time the business technique brand management was created. So I'm not going towards the history, what happened, why they have done this, just a brief overview how exactly the brand management and product management came in picture. Now we are coming to 1980s. So Intuit started using the field studies first time in the tech industry. So it was a financial company founded by Scott Cook. So Scott Cook was a former P&G PR employee. And during his working, he realized that personal computers would lend themselves replacement of paper pencil based personal accounting. So he thought with the idea and to come with the brand management in software high-tech companies. So in 1990s again, so Regis McKenna was a technology consultant and marketing that time. So he wrote a paper which got published, and he says that marketing person must be an integrator. So in 1990s, the role of product manager emerged integrated as a business, customer, and technical know-how. In that era only, 1990s, maybe 92, 93, the product market fit was envisioned and identified by Regis Makina. 1991, work with customer, new product development, production team, and identify new market segment got evolved. So now we can see from 1920s to 7 decades, it took a rich time for the companies to understand what we need to work on. Customer centric, customer focus. So products should be driven by the customers, customer related issues. And in if we see the 1930s era, the steam iron, toaster, and all those got invented and developed in that era, but eventually evolved by looking into the customer needs. That's a different part. We may take in some other session. And in 1990s only, the first time customers and partners were introduced to work for sales and profit. Till now, companies were not working for focused towards the sales and profit. So if we consolidate, so these are the consolidated areas where product management were done by inventors and geniuses. P&G was the first company to work with problem, market need, perform RCA to improvise product. And 1980s and 1990, what we have discussed about the Intuit and the product market fit by the P&G guys. Now let's start looking on the product management. So we all know what is product management. It's an organizational function that deals with the planning, forecasting, and production or marketing. So we regularly see in our day-to-day needs. So some of the products are only imported and marketed in India. Some are developed and marketed in India. So this is the difference how we do so. So product management has two different corners. One is the product management and one is the product marketing. So our focus will be towards the product management. So we have choose to build, building profitability, and building it right. So we have always heard the term building it right. So now we are trying to understand, we'll focus more to understand what is building it right. So this three areas can be defined as two sides of a coin. So this strategy goes on one side of the coin, and another side of the coin goes on the building the things rightly. So let's see what. So this is one of the concept I've taken from Pawan Soni, his source. So when we talk about the business strategy, so we either we have some problem understanding or we have a know-how to identify some opportunity in the market. So we do a discovery for that. We understand the challenge or do some research, gather inspirations. Then we talk to the people, talk to each other, tell the stories, tell the meaning, what we are trying to do, let's frame the opportunities. So we have many examples, Ola and all those. Ideation, then we generate ideas, and ideas should not be driven by one person or a group of person. It should be a multiple group of persons. Refine ideas. Once you have the refined ideas, then do the make prototypes. So prototype, it should not be a tool based directly. So we will see what is a prototype in down the line in the slide. Experiment, roll out in the market, learn from the market what we know about the MVPs, and evolutions. And the other side of the coin is the product discovery. So this is what we have discussed just now. So it's an iterative process. So a lot of experiment and cost effective and quick measures to be taken. So now we will be focused more towards the product discovery. So here we do product vision. So I'm not 100% focusing towards the product management firm or product development firm. So let's consider more towards the consulting firm. What are the best ways we can do to gather information? So product vision. So we should know what are the pain, users, segments, how we have to understand user, what are the problems, ideation, then the concept building, then we have the implementation. What we do, mainly we do implementation here. So let's understand first what this all four areas talks about. So let's have the product flow cycle. So any product, so it's a small product, large product, local product, global product. So it will have a complete life cycle, which will have a strategic thought to a tactical views. These are the all areas which we need to do to perform a product development and rollout. So development is just not a IT development, what we do in IT industry. Product life cycle has its own development life cycle. So let's see whose areas and who does what. So this area is mainly for the product strategies. This area is for the technical, this area is for the marketing. We mainly work for user personas, requirements, user scenarios, and status dashboards. So we have identified our area that we are. So this slide deck is mainly towards understanding what we do in our normal life activities. So now we are starting with the tools, techniques, and the best approaches, what I have done, what I have learned from the industry. So the golden circle. So mainly what we do, we directly go in and identify the what. So the golden circle was identified and defined by Simon Sinek. So let's understand those concepts first. So people directly going to talk about the what, means we directly focus towards the solution. Ideally, what we should do, we should first understand what is why, how is the process, and what we are trying to do so. So what we extract when we do this kind of interaction or brainstorming or ideation, we try to figure out what is the purpose. What, when we talk about why, what is the purpose? Why I'm trying to do this? What is the goals? What values I'm going to add? How it will define the process, workflows, and what do you do? Product and the results. So this is the example for a person who wants to be a book writer. So what is the need? So rather than going to what, we should focus from why. What is your cause as a writer? Just a second, I'm getting a sound from my background, so hope you guys can ignore this. Then how is the process? That talks about the specific actions taken to realize the why. And what is the result? What I want to write? What should be the result? Who is my target audience? Those informations come from the how. Let's see the product management framework. Product management frame. So this is defined by Association of the International Product Management and Marketing. So a product has the knowledge areas as well as the life cycle. So from the inception or conceit till the retirements. What we do only on the product. We don't focus on these areas ideally. So we have discussed about the product, we have discussed about the information. So now the product life cycle. So any product life cycle has sales versus time, and it has introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. So just to understand how, so maybe some product which is are new in the market, easily accepted, or it's driven with the MVP learning, can go with the similar way. So they can have the revenue as well as the profit from the initial stage also. Some product which requires a good size to come into the market, so they will have the first investments, which in terms of the books called as losses. So their introduction starts and similarly it goes on. So what we do in our working activities is this: the maximum informations are already done before coming to us in our consulting engagements. So it may be a small engagement, 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years, but coming to us, it has been already done. And when we see the contract is getting revised and revised, it means people are working on this area to identify what's the next. So let's talk about the business model inception. So now we are going to talk about how business model comes to the picture, how a product development comes in the thought process. Ideally, we talk about the value proposition first. So this is the business model and canvas. We start from the value propositions. So we have a value proposition in the product discovery area. So we identify who are the key partners, what are the things we are going to do. So we don't figure out the user, we figure out the customer segments. So we will discuss on a brief on this about the user personas and the buyer personas down the line. So this is, I'm just using Just Dial concepts to understand. So Just Dial, when launched long back initially, this was their first business model inception. So they have targeted only telephone, their information is there. But now if we see the B2C Just Dial information, now we can see the mode of engagements are different: telephone, mobile applications, internet, tech services. So the way of interactions are different. Cost structure is now the employee expenses. Previously, it was the employee expense, admin general, database management. Revenue stream was a premium subscription. Now it goes to different ways. So in this way, we need to interact with the customer. So when we work with the assisted team for IT team for them. So it's a responsibility of the product owner or the product manager and the product or manager and the product owner to interact each other, identify this kind of information that will help us to define our other informations. This is the one of the concept of the Google business. So this is a B2B2C model. So in this we have end users like us also targeted. We have OEMs also has been targeted. That's why it's a B2B2C, because many devices, laptops, they come with the inbuilt of the B2C of the Google Chrome browsers. So we can see here OEM for Chrome OS device, handset appliances. So this the cost structure, how they are going to manage the cost, how they are going to manage the revenue streams, who will be the customer segments. Nowhere it's mentioned who will be the users. Similarly, this is of the Apple, how we do, and this is of one of the SaaS based cloud computing. So this is for them. So what we do in product discovery. So ideally we have seen that we discuss, we don't do product discovery. So any product getting developed, software product, it's a product. It's a small engagement, large engagement. It has its own business driven thought process. Then only it's getting developed. So we have to understand those informations. Ideally, the product discovery participants are the business users, the customers, the product team. Customers are could be the end users. Customers can be the companies who are coming with those product development. So they have some research. So we can talk to them. Okay, when we are coming for this session, it can be ideal to have the physical workshop. It can be a one week to 1 month kind of thing. It depend upon the engagement as well as the size of the product, or we can do over the various tools using camera and all those. We can do that, but the board should be visible, and this all activities are performed with the raw information. So here we are going to talk about what we need to do to reach product. Ideally, what we do when customer comes and we interact with BAs, POs, on-site POs, we figure out, we directly go and talk about product. Okay, we will do like this, we will have this solution, we will have this API definitions. We go and directly talk about that. But we miss this 85% of the unseen area. What are those unseen areas? Okay, so before going to that, so this product, if we refer to the golden circle, it goes to the what, and this is the area we figure out why. How is the process that we will that teams figure out, okay, how we are going to achieve this. So if we see, we directly talk about the product, but what are the problems? Which problems are for which user? What are the needs? What are the engagements? So how user is going to be engaged to the application what we are going to build? What could be the high level features? Then we reach towards the product. This flow should be ideally from inflow to outflow, but in a majority of the cases I have experienced, people talk from outflow to inflow. We first identify the product, then we go and talk about the problems. So what we try to get out of the product discovery workshop. So this is one of my workshop we did for one of the largest global medical client of the US. So I'm in the NDA, so I cannot disclose those names. So we participated. These are our real customers. So we try to understand what exactly you are trying to looking for, what you want, what is the need and want of your business for this application. So this was a 1 week exercise what we did with them. So we figured out so we can have the high level features. So this is the open information copy pasted, the sticky notes written pasted by the end users. It's not only the end users. So we have a group of our UX people, we have a group from the marketing people, we have a group from from the product side, the complete the real product persons, and we from our side as a product owner. So we interacted, discussed, identified what we are trying to achieve, pain, their long term vision, etc., to understand the need and wants for the segment of the users, what kind of the users who are going to use, how they are going to use. So that those all things we are going to discuss now. So when we discuss high level thoughts, we figure out, okay, what would be the app values, what we're looking for, what can be the value proposition. So there is a way to figure out value proposition. So we have a value proposition canvas also, but these exercises to be done. So me being a product owner, it's my responsibility to get information. So I cannot directly go and show, okay, this is the new canvas, I'm going to work with you. But we should ask our question in a way that should meet the requirement of my expected canvas model, or my any tools, or my any techniques later on, which we can represent and showcase to them what we have discussed, what we have identified, and what we have presented. So this is a simple way of identifying target segments. So this, I've used the tools to represent it, but this all we prefer to do over the whiteboard activities, or maybe a wall board having the sticky notes. So what is a value proposition? So it describes the benefits which customer expects from the product and the services. So when we talk about the value proposition, so either the customer, when we say customer, the company with whom we are working, they might be having something with them, may not be on they might not be on online model, but they might be having an existing base of 60-70% of their offline base. From there, we try to understand, okay, what is driving you to reach towards this. Those kind of informations we go and discuss, identify, talk to customers. So our value proposition canvas talks about two things. One is the customer profile, one is the value map. So first we should start with the customer profile here. So we have to understand, okay, when we have a customer, so we have to go in the shoes of the, yeah, hello, someone, thank you. So we go and discuss, okay, what kind of customer, what is their functional engagements, what is their social engagements, how they interact with the customer, how they interact with the business, how they are going to solve their problem. So it's again a good exercise which may take some time later. So this is the way we identify. Hello, please keep you on mute, sir. Thank you. So then we identify what are the pains. What, so pains can be challenges, frustrations. I'm not understanding the user interface. I'm not understanding the user experience. So that can be a pain of a customer. It will be good if we pass the expected survey format with the customers when we are interacting in this engagements, like our consulting way, when we are not directly talking to the customers, end users. So we pass this information to their marketing team through the channel so that they can get those informations. So that will help us to identify the value proposition what we're trying to build up. So these are the ways. So when we interact, we will say, okay, you put out what is the pain, what is the gain, what is the deliverables you're looking for. So that will help us to consolidate what exactly we're trying to look for. Once we have those information, so we try to fit. So this fit is the product development what we are going to do. So when we have the pen table, so this all mainly works with the sticky notes on the big walls or the big the physical boards, and we do those kind of engagements. So now till now we have identified what would be the segment, what would be the problems, pains, what we are trying to achieve, what is the current pain, how we are trying to take care of the solution, how solution is going to assist our team. In that way, we have enough knowledge to start from here. So this is so wherever we'll figure out this kind of hidden content, it's a real-time example. So we have an idea and business goal, develop an application to visualize. So this is one of the product what I have worked for. So now we know what is the product name, type of product. Now we know the end users also. So we have targeted segment. Targeted segment went into the user role identifications, problem that product will solve, what we are planning to solve the problem, who will be the competitors. So let's say uh, if we are making a device, if you're making an app for data collection of the medical details, so that will be a problem solving for the real time users, those who are maintaining their reminders over the notebook, or they're managing in some other way, pasting stickies on the calendar. So they will get the notifications. So the competitors can be the existing way of work, the competitors can be the existing products in the work. So it again depends what kind of engagement and the product we are working for. And how does the solution differs here? So when we have this information with us, so we'll say this is the product vision. So every time we talk about sprint goal, do we know that? So I prefer to ask the people, do we know what is the product vision, what we are trying to build? So me being a developer, I might not be having all information. Me being a dev team, I might not be having all information, but I might be having some information. Okay, what is the product we are trying to build for? What is the vision of the product? It will give me an understanding to correlate with the business what I'm going to work for. So this is the way we define the product vision for patient users. So who are not able to manage their work, how they are going to do so, what is the existing problem, and how they will be engaged. So how the app will be different from the other apps, from their normal working activities. So this will derive us a product vision at a larger area. Eventually, we perform the SWOT analysis also. This is one of the SWOT analysis I've taken from Google for Redbus. So we figure out, okay, what are our strengths, what are our weakness, opportunities, and threats. And this is one of the SWOT analysis from my real-time engagement. So we figure out what are the internal attributes, external attributes, what are the positive and what are the negative achievers. In that way, we can figure out. So there is a lot of data involved behind this to get so. Those informations come from the internet search, research, and information given from the team, the customer team, to get that information. And we have performed. So this is Buddy. So Buddy, it was nothing. It was a chatbot. So we wanted to do the SWOT analysis for the chatbot. So we did the SWOT analysis for one specific feature also. How a user can understand, how user can get nerdy with this, how user can not be happy with this. So those kind of understanding that will help us to identify when to appear, when to get notifications. So how we get the notification, either it's a p2p notification or it's a app notifications. So these all are driven by the SWOT analysis with the surveys, with the data, what they understand, with the user experiences, what we do when we do the bouncing rates and all those. That derives a product management team, the product owner, and the respective team to identify what we have to do. So, are we good till now? Or do we want to have some question here, or we can have the question session in the later?
So far, it's good. At least for me.
Okay, thank you. So let's continue. Yeah, so similar way. So there are many things which customer even doesn't know. So me being a product owner, I don't expect my customer to know everything. But when we go and ask them, okay, why we are trying to achieve this, it will give the information about your business, your line of business. When we go and talk about the customer informative information, then customer will be more happier, rather than asking the requirement, rather than asking what I'm going to do. So if we are coming with enough experience in multiple domains, multiple verticals, we know what to do, we know how to work with the softwares. First we should understand what a business is about, and that the complete business is driven towards the product. Okay, now we are going to talk about the persona creation. So persona creation is to understand how a user is. So if we remember the previous slide, so we have seen buyer persona as well as the user persona. So what we work in our product is the user persona, but sometimes, sorry, buyer persona, but sometimes user persona also plays a role. So let's understand what is that. So when we build a persona, we start building a persona, then we do a ideation, then we go for the conceptual thoughts and ideation. So we start with the paper conceptualization. So ideally what do we do, that we start directly with the tools. Let's not go to the tools first, and because when we are talking about the ideation, it's not only the responsibility of the UX guy, everyone is having their own experience. So let's do a paper sketching, figure out, okay, if you have 10 more different ways to do so, then we can figure out what is the best way to do so. Involve customers, understand their, okay, so I was talking about that medical organization. So we being sitting in India, we don't know how does the US users interact with the application, we don't know how they look for the application. Ask those specific question to those US folks. So two of them are Indian, few of them were the US citizen, but they are residing there from long 10 years plus. They know better the US market than us. Ask them directly, can you let me know how your team is interacting with the end users, what is the frequency you interact. So this kind of information will help us to derive, okay, where we can reduce, where we can increase, because when we have the more features in a US driven application where people don't know what to do, so having, rather than having more features, instead of that we should have the minimum features with the maximum values what they're trying to achieve for. So ideally a persona includes a fixed, so it's a fictional, it can be fictional, it can be physical data, it can be a secondary data. Ideally getting a physical data, the primary data, it's a little a heavy task, but the company does so, now who performs survey. So example, I'm not getting an example as of now, but it was for the UK, and Amazon has already done one okay, huh, yeah, if I'm trying to correlate, yeah. So we have a pickup points in India also, we have a pickup points in Bangalore, in US also, but the pickup point does not work in US, sorry, UK, because the behavior of the UK persons are different. So those kind of surveys can be done on a primary data also, where we go through surveys, we go through physical visits, and we go through canopy understanding, we try to figure out. That's why Amazon Prime is working better in US and India while comparing with the UK. So Amazon Prime has its own features, so we'll not discuss on that more. But the pickup point works better. So when we go, so let's talk about Indian experience. When I go and talk, so now before some time, Amazon come with okay, deliver with my neighbor. It was not previously. Um, I want to pick up from this point, so it will give you 20 pickup points. So those kind of features got evolved by looking to the users, understanding the user's behavior, and then they figure out the features to be driven out in the product. Now we are going to talk about user personas and buyer personas. So user persona, we have discussed what kind of user is this, how user will interact, how user will perform. Now what is the buyer persona? So let's take an example. We have a book to be sold, it's offline or online. So who will be the buyer? So buyer will be, of course, my parents if I'm a kid, my associated guardian, but the end user is the kid who is going to read that book. So this is the difference between the user personas and buyer personas. When we go and talk about the enterprise application we build, so or the B2B application we build, so buyer persona will be the company with whom we are interacting, the company X, but the user personas will be the top management, mid management, managers, mid-level managers, low-level managers, other users who are going to interact with the application. That will help us to identify the buyer persona, the user persona. So now let's take example of B2B, B2C for the product development. So I'm talking about the OO rooms as a persona. So we have the OO rooms here. So OO room as a product, it has different users, different platforms, different business models. We can discuss this in some other session. So this way we can derive the persona. The users are the end users like us, the user and the users like the hotels, and we have the back office users, the analytic users, the marketing users. So those way we define the persona of a application. Joe has different product line, different platforms, different business models. So we'll have different user and personas, of course. Flipkart, it's a B2C online portal. So it will have a Flipkart website, web, mobile app, social website. So the business model is driven by this kind of engagements. A user who is coming on Flipkart portal will have a different way of working, performing on the portal, and the person who is coming from the app or the Flipkart Lite app will have a different way of performing to the engagement. So this is the way we try to figure out envision, ideate, and try to figure out how a user is going to do so. So how we define and work to identify for the personas. Ideally, what we do in our regular activities, regular engagements, we go and identify, okay, these are all are the expedite. Everything cannot be expedite. Let's think from the business perspective. Who can do what? How can we? What is the minimum persona to roll out? The persona should be focused towards the business. If Amazon has to be rolled, if you see the UI of the Amazon, many people say I don't like the UI of the Amazon, but Amazon is not driven by the UI. It's driven by the UX. All informations are easily available, simple, low fidelity light. Low fidelity kind of the prototype they have. They do not work with the high fidelities, lot of informations, lot of image gathering. They work with a very simple fidelity. So this helps us to derive the user personas. How we build a persona? So this is a good picture to showcase. So always UX says this is the best way, this is the latest trend, this is the going. Product managers say no, I understand the business, it has to be like this. But to get to a user experience and identify user persona, we have to live that life. We have to understand. So these all are living a life of user by putting myself in their shoes. Example, Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime, I think it was started in 2005-6. So it was for for the end user who are both professionals, who cannot wait for the items to be delivered, who wants things to be delivered on the same day. So in India, the Amazon Prime rarely works with that on the same day delivery on the same pin code, but in US it works with on the same day delivery. So these are the user experiences that makes us to understand what kind of UI has to be. So here we understand what is the demography, what is the value we are trying to give to the customers, and what is the value and benefit which a customer end user is expecting, what he's trying to experience, and what would be the end goal. That will help us to identify the personas. Persona we can build by the user journey. So this is again from one of the app. So this is day one, what that person will do on the day one, what that person will do in the day two, what person will do in the day three, then day 10, then day 30. That will help us to identify how the user is getting matured and more informative with the uses of the app. So now just see, we just logged into the zoom.us, and we have liked the user experience or the UI, and we started talking. It's very good. We wanted to know what is the pricing. So similarly, once we get informative, we want to know something else. Okay, what more we can do from this? So those kind of information we try to figure out by talking and discussing. Okay, now we are coming to the floating jargons in the market: MVP, MVE, MVF, MLP. So I have illustrated here with the information on the slide that will help us to talk more and to share more info. So let's start with the MVP. So MVP is just with enough features to satisfy early customers, get the receive the feedback. So I remember when Redbus was first started, I think in 2006. Redbus was not having the payment gateway. When we book with the Redbus, it was just having the enough feature. Select your destination, select the bus, time, and book the ticket. Ticket will get delivered to you offline. The person will come and deliver to you. Then they had the survey, identified what users are looking more. Then slowly we got the payment gateway integrated. Even I remember the Ola. When Ola launched in 2010, 11, I think so. So it was coming with the upfront pricing. If you want to go to airport, sedan will have 799 rupees fixed. The hatchback will have 499 fixed. AC non. It was a fixed pricing. Eventually they evolved, they understood the market, they understood the customer behavior, they understood the customer traveling behavior. They figure out, evolved with them, the pricing, the traffic pricing, the running pricing, and all those got evolved and incorporated into the product. So this is one of the example. So we say we have 5 million in funding, and what we try to get it right. We always say what we try to build it right, get it right. But what we are discussing is how to get it right. So let's see, what does a viable means. Ideally, when if we have a set of the complete products, it's not the viability. What is the minimum the product features we want to roll out in the market, and what is the business value I'm trying to build from that viability. That two mixture will give us the minimum plus the viable. That is called as the minimum viable product. MVP talks about early rollout, early feedback, early learning, incorporate, then again rollout. So some products will have MVP 1, MVP 2, MVP 3. Then they will say, okay, I'm already launched. So they do understand learning, go into the market, come back, again do the improvisation, go into the market, like that. But now our customer end users are getting more mature, more tech savvy. So now if you ask me the MVP, now there is a new term after the MVP. Before to that, let's see this. So what we do, we directly go and work for this. Any minimum viable product should meet the functional reliability, usability, and the emotional design, depending on the segment of the users, depending on the geographic of the users. This defines as the minimum viable product. A feature is not an MVP. If a feature is getting developed and if it's solving some problem, getting some value out, then it's an MVP. So this is just a representation to understand what is a terrible, bad, okay, and real MVP. How we can achieve the real MVP. If we are giving this three, then it's okay. It's a good to go. But if we are giving a value and benefits built on the top of features, then that is a real MVP. But if you ask me on my personal note and the experiences, now I would say MVP is dead. Now we have MVE, minimal viable experiences. Because initially, what companies used to do so, they launch in the market, learn from the customers, and then evolve their products. Either it's a software product or it's another product. But now user are more tech savvy. User knows more about the working on the applications or the mobile apps. So now they try to come with the application with the complete user journeys. So if a user will come, or she should complete this information. One user journey has to be completed. What we normally talk about, the life cycle of the user engagement. So that has to be completed. So the MVEs has the complete customer journey, which enables customer to start and complete a full process. If I'm coming in Amazon and if I'm coming with a thought to purchase, then I will search, add to cart, and go and purchase. So Amazon has a patent on add to cart. So this we can discuss some other time. So this is the MV. So when we see MVP, suppose if you want to cross cross a small river, and there is no bridge or that, so the small boat is the MVP. A small a provision given for the end user to cross that. It can be a human boat, a human driven boat, those kind of things. But when we define, okay, let's talk about Owen's motorboat, which can save my time. We can directly go to and fro. That is a minimum viable experience for me. And when we talk about dream, it can have all luxury items, fooding items, enjoying items, and all those. That talks about the dream product. So now let's talk about MVF. So MVF is minimum viable feature. So MVF is ideally done once we already have a MVP rolled into the market. MVP is already there. We have already the end customers, end users. We know what is the customer description. We know what product we have discovered. So now what we are going to de- develop and deliver on the top of that. So any features is getting built on the base of the MVP and on are called as MVF. So MLP, now there is also a term MLP, minimum lovable product, and it's for very niche customers. But this we are going to put on hold and we'll discuss later. Now coming back to the prioritization techniques, how to prioritize, what to prioritize. So, uh, so the prioritization technique, it's external, internal, various to the quantitative and qualitative. So, but we are going not to talk about all 20, I think. Yeah, it's a 20 techniques. But we are going to talk about few techniques which I have learned experience while talking to customers, how to do so, how to get things done. So let's start with the Kano model. So Kano model, it was a paper published by Noriyaku Kano in '84 that talks about the customer satisfaction with the product. So we might have seen this somewhere. This attractive is called as delighters, performance, somewhere functionality called in terms of investment, and this should be somewhere it talks about the must be and the basics. So we have the four ways of understanding the features. So what could be the must be? These are the basic features. If you talk to me, a login is not an MVP. Notification is not an MVP. Is not a MVP. Alert is not a MVP. Role modeling is not a MVP. So what is the MVP? MVP should be driven. If you remember the previous slide of the triangular shape of defining MVP, it should be driven with the business. That should be a MVP. Okay, if I want to work for a dashboard, how I can get the MVP rollout? Okay, but to reach to my MVP, we have to meet these minimum criterions. Okay, so let's have this login and all those slowly done, or we can do a parallel activity on the form of different teams and figure out okay how to be done. So what should be the must be? These are the simply expected by the customer. If you don't have, your product is no more, or it's not to be liked by the user, because this it's a must be, because when we start using the product or any application, we start doing the comparison also. Okay, Instagram has this feature, Facebook also has this feature, Facebook Messenger also has this feature. In this way, we do the comparisons. Oh, if I'm working on a Skype and I'm working on Google Duo, okay, what is the difference in these two? So we start doing the comparative analysis. Maybe the customer segments are different, maybe the customer line of business are different, but the end users start doing that. What would be the performance features? So what would be the performance features lie here? So this is between the satisfaction and the investment of satisfaction and the functionality. What would be the delighters? So I nowadays the delighters are also called as MLP. And what should be the indifferent features? So maybe I have some features which is indifferent but are making some viable sense to my product. So we can have that. So, and also by the time, sometime performance features becomes your basic and must be features, attractive features becomes your performance features. This way the product gets evolving. So if you remember, 2 to 3 years back, Flipkart was not what the wish list. When you go and select for the wish list was not there. I think three years back. But now, if you see, the wish list is there. When the Valentine's Day come, it comes with a heart shape. When Deepavali is coming, it's coming with the cracker bursting. So those kind of product evolving takes place, and in this way, the delighters goes to performance, and performance goes to must be. The cycle goes on. So examples and how to work on that. So we have many times we're working on Confluence and Jira. We suddenly receive, okay, how do you rate this Confluence? One in the scale of 1 to 10. LinkedIn survey is the largest survey I have ever taken. Whenever LinkedIn survey comes, it takes around 12 to 13 minutes to complete the survey. Ola survey, the small survey when you close your trip. Okay, how was your journey? So those are the data science that helps them to understand the user's behavior, users engagement with the app, engagement with the trip that they have been through. So this is the way we identify the feature prioritization for Kano model. Now coming back to the user story mapping. So user story mapping is largely adopted in the industry. People talk more about the user story mapping, but let's see, okay, how we do the user story mapping. So some people say that let's use at the task level. So I would recommend let's not use at the task level from my experience, because it makes it clumsy. Then what happens, rather than talking on why, we will be more focused towards what, and we will talk more from the solution side. So this is one of the screenshot taken from a tool. So this is for the organize email and manage calendar. What user can do to perform these things, and what user stories can be done to achieve this. So this help us to identify by our R1, R2, and R3. Or if we have more to do so here, and so we have a line management, so we can do a line like this that will help us to identify our release. What is the minimum story required to complete that feature? Eventually we will keep evolving our understanding and keep the product ongoing. Now the Moscow prioritization. So it talks about must be, should be, could be, and would not, or won't. And O and O, this MO and CO, it's done to remember why, remember the Moscow word. So we have a goal. So every prioritization is always driven by the goal, the business goal. Then every goal should not be a must. A goal should have some must, some should, and some could, some must not. So we can do like this, or we can do with some rating scale. So this rating scales has to be discussed, identify among talking to the product managers, owners, the customers, and figure out, okay, well, how do you rate? So I have a customer, I had worked with a customer who so when we talk to our this business owners, so business owners are not only dedicated to our product development, they also have their own business activities. So we have to be smart enough to get those informations from them. So let's say, okay, how do you rate these 5 features on the scale of 1 to 5? If I'm having a call over the call, or maybe on some tool, so he will say, okay, I will just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, get the information, pass the information. That will help us to define our consensus. Okay, what can be done, what cannot be done. So minimum passing criteria. So example, I will say any model to be done. So let's say for an example, I'm taking invest model. So when we go and do the invest model for the user story, so we have a definition of the criteria. Okay, out of 1 to 5, you will rate whatever. Minimum passing should be 70%. So what is the 70% of 25? It may be 18. So if we meet the 18, this story is enough good to go ahead. So maybe if we are the little matured guys, we want to put as a 90. So it will be around 23 or 24. So this way we can do our prioritization techniques to work for the tree. So one of the other ways is the pruning that product tree. So we have already done with the MVP. We are done with the product rollout. So how we want to do? So this is the the kind of game exercise what we do. So it will help us to interact more, talk, understand what we are going to do, so give a visibility directly with the customers, with the development team, with the associated stakeholders. And it can be done over the board with the street to be there by having the whiteboards or the white sheets, or we can do white sheets on the table also. So this helps us to identify, okay, what is your core features, what is your sub features or the new features we're looking for, what could be the stories to achieve that, what could be the features to achieve that. So first you can have a feature, then you can have a story, and if you want to work one more level down, then you can work with the tasks to subtasks to achieve that. But let's not make something like clumsy like this which we cannot remember. We have to work in a way that we should be identified easily without having the mind boggling. Scorecard, it's again a scorecard. Rating is a person, the criterion defined by discussed and defined with the customers, the end users or the stakeholders. Okay, to me features to be prioritized, what should be the criterions? Criterion 1 to 5, identify which criteria should have what percentage. That will help you. So if something is coming as 50 percentage or 100 percentage, example I'm giving, so that should be a one criteria, that should be a two criteria, so those ways. So this should be kept evolving. So product discovery, when we do product discovery ideally we should not do for 5 to 6 sprints, more than that, because we talk about the what is the health of your backlog. So n+2 or n+3 should be there. So if I have 1+3 and if I'm working with 2+3, so it should not be more than 5 to 6 sprints. So let's, after every 3 months we have to figure out a way to get some time. It should not be one day again, 1 month, 1 week again, or 1 month again. It should be a one day workshop. We have to figure out in a way, again, by talking to the decision making authorities. And if you have a decision making authorities with you, then you have to figure out how to do so. Now this is a classification ranking, or somewhere it is called as business value ranking also. Just go and talk to the customer, okay, these are the identified features. Or if you're working at the epic level, okay, these are the identified epics, and out of the epic we have this 20 user stories identified. Rank them 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that is the way to do so. All are with the experiments, how we do so with the customers, how customer interacts, and we do so. And this is another way of the feature bucket. So mainly this happens for the product organization. So so we might have experience when we work with some product. So it can be enterprise product, it can be open market B2C product, or B2B2C product. So there is an option somewhere, I wish, or you can write a mail to them, okay, I wish, kind of thing. Or you can say this behavior, this feature behavior is not as expectation. So those help us to understand. Or some we go with the customer request, support request, and all those. So we have the metric movers, which is defined. So we'll not discuss about AA, triple R here, but we have lot of metrics that can be identified from this. So what would be the acquisition? What would be the reverse ratio, reverse? All those things are here. Customer requests. So these are features which are requested. So that goes to the product pipeline. So if you go and search in Google Jira support request, so Jira will directly open Jira. For them it has a request coming from the customer. You go and see which tickets are there, what is the status of the ticket. That information will go in the open. We don't have to go and log in also. What could be the delights? Again, refer to the Kano model. What could be the delighters for the user? Those way we can figure out the feature price. So, and this is strategic talks about from the business goal, organizational vision, for whom we are working, what they're trying to achieve. Those informations to be driven, understood by the product managers or the business owners with whom we are working, and those to be translated by the product owners or the BA with uh, decision making abilities, come and talk to the customers. Yeah, please say.
So what is full form of AA, triple R?
This is a metrics what we use for. So this is acquisition, this is the activation, this is the requisition, And if you want, then I have to check so this is the 5 metrics that derive us to understand the metric. Okay, what is the first time of the login, what is the available time of the user for the complete application,
Okay.
what is the reverse rate. So if it, or sometimes it is called as churn rate also. So
Okay.
if a user has come and user has moved out of the application, so somewhere we ideally call it as bouncing back. But what is the churn rate also, what is the conversion rate, what are the reverse reciprocals. So on the basis of this marketing activities AARR, we have many metrics which we are going to see. We are not going to discuss here, but we are just trying to understand how we work in the B2B to understand and how we work in the B2C to understand. Is it fine? Hello, am I clear, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So one of the way is the funnel prioritization. So just I've taken it out. So let's not go. So this on what or to the purchase directly. So if we have a user, what kind? So if I recall some app, okay, like my city for no, what is the name of that app? My city for kids. If I'm not recalling correctly, the my city for kids. Yeah. So they mainly work with the search query. So their first information will be here. I think they don't work with the add to cart. They have the plan to work, but I have not seen from long back that they are working or not. So let's see if we are working with the remember with the Flipkart. Flipkart started with the book selling. Then eventually they evolved to the complete online e-commerce. So if we take one product, one feature, not the product, one feature, a user will come. What is the maximum time he is going to spend on my application? He will be searching. Okay, ठीक है. He will be searching. What is the maximum time he is going to add to cart? So we'll figure out. So this can be based on the specification by examples. This can be based on the analogies. This can be based on the user persona in vision by keeping myself in the shoes of the customer. Okay, how I am going to purchase one of the book. So those way will help us to identify my funnel prioritization. So key takeaways here are, so prioritize at the high level, set goals to measure and adjust, don't do it alone, quantitative versus qualitative, and external versus internal. So this all will help us to identify our the prioritization techniques. So now we are coming to the metrics. Okay, so to the metrics. So we do burn up, burn down, epic. So we are not going to talk about that. Let's understand what all other metrics are there in the market which the team look for. So coming back to the person who has asked this question, so here we have that the many information that will come from the triple R. So that is, A is for acquisition, B A again is for activation, retention, referral, and revenue. So it's from the business goal to a revenue goal. That will help us to identify many metrics from there. So time to activation. How does it take for an end user to start using my application? Frequency of use. So if I am make my trip user, what is my frequency of using the uses? So hardly if I travel 2 to 3 times in a year. So I might be a user who performs a hotel booking from Make My Trip. So maybe because I get multiple options, maybe I got a good discount, MMT discount from there, and I prefer to book my all flights by Cleartrip because Cleartrip directly generates the add to passbook or some other way. So these are the ways we identify what is the frequency of use, how the user is using the application, what is the length of the use, how much time does the user takes to complete complete a flow life cycle, what kind of support request we are getting. So we have the portals like real estate portals like Zenify, Nestaway recently acquired Zenify. So those way will help us to understand. The back office will also play a key role to generate the data information, how what kind of request we are getting. That will help us to identify the feature improvisation or the new feature request is required or not, or feature request with the business need, internal or external request. So this can be by business driven or by a OEM driven B2B model, or it can be by the B2C, the end user guys. We develop a lot of features, but we have to identify which features are getting used by the user. So they are the ways we can directly go and understand, take out this information. So we can have with the analytic tools like Google Analytics, mixed panels, and other tools are also there. Or if you want to understand, we can work with the queries and figure out from our DB, okay, how we are using, what is the number of ways we are using. Those informations we can figure out. So now coming to the B2C. So in B2C, we measure in three main areas. One is the marketing, customer success, product engagement, and the business success. So in marketing, so the marketing metrics behaviors are different. They go and work with the monthly unique visitors, how many users came, how many are the unique users, how many are the returning users, what is the customer acquisition cost. So suppose if marketing is doing a promotional event in some mall or somewhere, and they have spent suppose $1,000 and they have acquired 5 users, so the acquisition cost will be $200 per users. If we have more than that, so similarly the calculation goes on. And what is the organic traffic versus the paid traffic? So organic traffics are directly coming and hitting to my portal, and the paid traffic, so we have a term called target user segment. So we follow the users, wherever user go we follow them. So it's followed by the cookies and all the way we know better, that the development team knows better. So we follow the users. So those way we figure out, okay, what kind of traffic is directly hitting, what kind of traffic is coming from the mobile applications, what is coming from the navigated traffics or the paid traffics. So, and now we figure out on the product users adoption. So what is the sign-in frequency? What is the percentage of user who perform similar actions? So we have to figure out which features are getting performed by the similar activities, who perform specific actions. So there are some users like if I am a Amazon Prime user, so I will not go and search so many things. I have taken Amazon Prime by paying a very small amount, but my need is to go and directly go and search that specific item and go to the add to cart and make the payment. So that is a behavior of a specific user. What is the retention rate? So retention rate is calculated in terms of the money invested by that user in that duration from the day of activation. So if I am associated with Amazon from last 5 years or Flipkart with 5 years until now, how much money I have spent with them. So that can be again categorized with the way of the categories purchasing. Then support ticket versus closed tickets. So we have support tickets raised by the end users or the internal users, and how many things are getting closed. So maximum the close, we have the metrics. It shows that the product is getting towards the maturity level, and we have, so the delight features are going towards the performance features. Now coming to the business success. So this is from the strategic view. How many? So before talking about this, we have heard about lot of acquisitions, investments, and all those. How does the investment comes? So it's just not focusing to the business. It's focusing towards the data behind with the business. So how many active users you have, how many lifetime value users you have, what is the recurring revenue. So these are from the business oriented aspects. What is the average revenue per person? So if I purchase from any portal, so what is the average coming like this? So those kind of average information we calculate out. And so like, what is the annual contract value? So Amazon Prime has 499 rupees as the contract value. So that is a annual contract value per person into number of person those who have availed that, and so that will be give us the total number with the total people. And if you want to see who are existing, that will give us the existing users. So those kind of many metrics are there. So I have not incorporated all the metrics here. And again, see from the Redbus aspect. So this is taken from the Google. So I don't know the data accuracy, but the presentation of data is good. So what is the estimated worth? How much does it make, and how is the website traffic? So we can figure out what is the bouncing rate, what is the visitors per day, per month, per year, all those information from the marketing perspective and the product growth perspective. Now we are coming back to the MLP, minimum lovable product. So how to identify MLP? So we have discussed about MVP, MVF, MVE. Now what is MLP? So I'm considering here the Amazon and the Amazon.com and the Amazon.in experience. So here in 2005, Amazon launched Amazon Prime in US, and with the punchline saying, and all you can eat express shipping members program for about $1 million. Our vision was that first delivery should be an everyday experience. So they had received some support saying that, okay, we are getting a problem, 4 days, 5 days, so we need a same day delivery. So on the basis of that, and this research is based on the sampling size of the 2000 peoples, and we will see how this helped Amazon to achieve. So MLP is for the niche segment users. It's not for all users of my application. It's a very niche segment. It can be 0.1%, 1%, or 2%, depending on the data what we have with us to understand. Depending, so those informations again we get it from the surveys, support requests, or maybe some the promoting events. We try to understand all those information. So build a something that is for a very small amount of the users. Why we want to do so? Again, we have to do this ideation and brainstorming. Rather than talking about the what, let's start with why and figure out the outflow out that will help us to get the product and roll out to the market. So we have the AmazonPrime.com, Prime Now, and the Amazon. So this is the way we can define the MLP. So it can be for B2B also, but again we have to figure out. So sometimes we come with a request, okay, this is specific for the top management, so that is the niche users. This dashboard is only for the top management. So some product help us to automatically do perform by the user. So example I will give you, ICICI. When you log into ICICI allows us, okay, when you log in, where you want to land, what you want to see. So that can be driven by the end users. But when we think from the niche segment and user who have a less time to perform activities, then we define, okay, the dashboard representation has to be a driven with the role and authorization driven. So a person who is tagged to this role based access will get this kind of information. Again, a CEO information will be different, a CFO will be different, and the CEO will be different. So those information we can go and talk to customer and figure out. So now what Amazon has gained. So they have the 50% increase in members globally in 2014. So they have started in 5 until 14 they have the 50% increase in members. And Prime has now 40 million US members. So if you see, the average spending of a non-member is $625 per year, and a person who is having Prime members, they spend $1,500. So it's almost 2 points sometimes more the current purchasing behavior of a normal 50% users. So the reasons behind that that give me extra advantage to get on the same day if that is allocated to the pin code, or on the day tomorrow. So we get, if you book in 10 hours, you will get it tomorrow by 8 p.m. So those kind of help us to helps buyer to spend more, because I'm getting the tangibility very sooner. So we talk in our normal day-to-day life that tangible class of services. The customer want to see the tangible things. That will give more satisfaction, more understanding. Then yeah, this we have discussed. So this is based on the 500 US based participants in 2014. So now let's view the learning and trend. So many more things can be identified and done, but we focus mainly on the product and technology. But to achieve a success of the product, we have to go with all this company, marketing, financial accounting, legal. So they have their own own metrics to perform, own information to be shared. All those informations are there. So again, I say measure your product performance, not your product management. And by this, we are closing our discussion and we'll move towards the thoughts, but just a concluding thought. So in a boxing game, defeat is not declared when one falls down. It's declared only when one falls to get up. So thanks to everyone for being with me. So now we can start a brief interactive sessions where we can discuss, try to figure out to answer to the questions. If not, then we can take eventually to other way outs. Is it fine, David and all?
Yes, we'll proceed with the Q&A.
Yeah, so we can have some questions. Well, I will try to understand and share from my the experience and the learnings what I have gained. If not possible as of now, I'm able to answer, then we can figure out. So if people are from ATM group, they can drop it there, and if you're from other users, then you can put your questions in the meetup URL. We can figure it out from there. Yeah, please go ahead one by one, please.
Sir, I'm Sarvesh.
Yes, Avish.
Can I know more about the retention rate, sir?
So what do you want to know more about the retention rate?
You told it's measured in terms of money. What about the services and number of users who have subscribed for the service?
Which service? Amazon Prime.
Okay, so number of users, can it be the measuring tool?
Yeah, of course. So how we
It need
see?
not be
So
only money, right?
pardon?
It need not be only money.
No, no. So there are many ways of retention of the users. So
Okay.
when we are making a retention of the user, so a user can be retained. So that one parameter is the money to evaluate. So that is called as the average lifetime value.
Okay.
But when user is returning to your app, so if I'm a clear trip user till now 7 8 years, there must be a reason. It's
Yeah.
not only the money I am getting as a benefit,
Okay.
it may be other features. Like I will give you my personal experience why I'm using clear trip. Easy to work, no promotional information,
Okay.
and very simple UX in my iOS device, and I can do a add to passbook facility. So I
Okay.
don't have to carry with the message or the paper way. So if you see me as an end user, so for me being with the retention to clear trip is that I have a complete history. Other wills also have,
Yeah.
but I am more towards the clear trip with its feature uses.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we have more? Yeah, please feel free to ask questions. We have lot to ask.
So what in the traditional world they were using instead of this golden circle? Golden circle comes recently, right?
No, it's not recent. It's a
Okay,
long
it's
mix. Simon,
that's
it's very old.
okay.
Yeah. So see, if you want to get this kind of data, so thanks for the asking question. So you can put in the meetup.com URL. I will search and come back with you what is the traditional, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I need time to get those answers.
Sure.
So we can talk from the normal working experiences. So you might be working with the large engagements. So if you want, we can interact in that level, or we can discuss on product discoveries. So we have lot way to ask questions. So it's again depend on the audience to ask questions. So I think David and Krishna.
I think if there is no more questions, we'll wind this up.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
of course.
we have shared our WhatsApp group link. You can join our WhatsApp to discuss with the speaker more. Also, if you are registered, you will be getting, if you are registered to the registry, you will be getting the SEU details. So thank you everyone for joining. So catch you up later.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks, David.